Hello and welcome. We are live on DAZN all the way from Orlando, Florida. Perfect stage, Caribe Royale for the last challenge before an outstanding night of wars. It's another evening of matchroom boxing with the best facing the best, highlighted by our main event, none other than Richardson Hitchins facing the very well-seasoned Jose Zepeda. Also, we mark the return of Conor Benn right here in Orlando. And the ladies, up front and center with the limelight, Jessica McCaskill in a unification battle against Sandy Ryan and none other than Austin Amo Williams, one of the outstanding prospects, great talent, testing his skills against none other than Steve Rolls, who comes all the way from Canada to test and prove that he is still a very well-seasoned fighter and he deserves to be in the highest level of boxing here in the US of A. And once again, bringing the best of the best, another evening that starts at 5 p.m. with the ladies once again. Jasmine Artiga testing her power against Josefina Vega that comes all the way from Ecuador, followed by a local, Giovanni Estela, who will be facing Gerardo Casaballo, all the way from Puerto Rico, Trujillo Alto. And Khalil Cole, another outstanding young talent. He's going to prove his skills against Kenmore Evans. And to finalize the Before the Bell event, Orestes Velasquez from Camagüey, Cuba. We all know the type of talent that comes from that island. He will be facing Mohamed Somoto in a fantastic fight. Once again, starting at 5 p.m. tomorrow night. But with no further ado, let's just go to the stage with David Diamante.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's absolutely wonderful to be here in the Sunshine State, Florida, Orlando, for the official weigh-in for our big night of World Championship Professional Boxing taking place here on Saturday night. Now, before we begin, I just want to say I want a nice round of applause for all the fighters as they come up, not right now, as they come up. So please do that as they come out throughout the day. But like I said, it's great to see you guys here. The whole event is being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Betfred, Stagefront, and Caribe Royal. And of course, as always, the telecast will go out live around the world exclusively on DAZN. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and start this weigh-in. We got 8 fights. We got 4 title fights. So at this time, it's time to bring the fighters up to the stage so they can face the scale and face each other. Our first contest, 8 rounds in the bantamweight division. Making her way to the stage, de Quito, Ecuador. Professional record 9-4 with 6 knockouts. Please welcome Josefina Vega. And her opponent now making her way to the stage. She is undefeated in her campaign as a professional with a record of 10 victories, no defeats, 1 draw with 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, Jasmine Artiga. Now to the scale, Josefina Vega.
Jasmine.
114 pounds for Josefina Vega, 114 pounds bang on. And now to the scale, Jasmine Artiga. 116 pounds bang on for the undefeated Floridian. Artiga versus Vega, 8 rounds bantamweights, Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from Orlando, Florida, kicking us off here on Saturday night.
Josefina Vega to 114, way below the 118 limit. And this is how our evening will start with 2 great fighters. And again, Josefina Vega coming all the way from Quito. This is a place that has been known for a lot of soccer, a lot of boxing, and of course, a lot of spirit, warrior spirit. And tomorrow night, she will be up front and center. Coming up next, we have none other than Giovanni Estela, El Rayo, better known as the Lightning because of his speed, and he will showcase his skills before a very fan-friendly crowd. Family and friends will be here to support this talent who's going to be facing Gerardo Caraballo from Trujillo Alto. Puerto Rico against Puerto Rico, and for the details, let's go to David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest, 8 rounds in the super welterweight division, and it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing in association with Box Lab Promotions. This is 8 rounds in the super welterweight division. Now making his way to the stage with a professional record of 6 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw, all 6 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Peleando fuera Trujillo Alto, Puerto Rico, damas y caballeros, Corazón de Oro, Luis Caraballo. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, undefeated as a professional, 12 fights, 12 victories, 3 of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of right here in Orlando, Florida. Please welcome El Rayo, Giovanni Estrella. Now to the scale, Luis Caraballo. 153.4 for Caraballo, 153.4. And now to the scale, the undefeated Estrella, Giovanni Estrella. 153.6 for Estrella.
0.2 pounds difference between Giovanni Estrella and Gerardo Caraballo, 153.4 and 153.6. The advantage by Giovanni the Lightning Estrella, who's just a little bit taller at 6'1", and very well under the limit of the super welterweight division, 154 pounds. This is a fight where Giovanni is looking for a win because in a very near future, he might have the possibility to look for a title. This is a fight that Gerardo Caraballo, coming all the way from Puerto Rico, wants to show that the island still has a lot of talent to give the rest of the world for belts and championship fights. Please don't blink, because this fight might go very, very short. Again, 2 fighters with a lot of hunger coming from Puerto Rico, such a small island with a lot of talent, with very deep, deep roots in the sport of boxing, in the sweet science. Coming up next, we have Khalil Cole that comes all the way from Jersey City, and he's going to be facing Kenmore Evans, a local from Smyrna Beach, right here in Florida. It's a fight that, again, you do not want to miss. Let's go back to Mr. Diamante.
All right. The action continues. 3rd fight of the night, 8 rounds, light heavyweights, now making his way to the stage. 10 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw, with 3 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of New Smyrna here in Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kenmore Evans. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He is undefeated in his campaign as a professional with a record of 6 wins, no defeats, 1 draw, with 4 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Jersey City, New Jersey. Please welcome the big stepper, Khalil Cole. Now to scale, Kenmore Evans. 179.8 for Evans, 179.8. And out of the scale, the undefeated big stepper, Khalil Cole. A trim and ready 179.6 for the undefeated big stepper, Khalil Cole.
Khalil Cole against Kenmore Evans. The big guys are light heavyweight, 179.6, 179.8. Very similar numbers. The only big difference would be the record. 6-0, undefeated, with 4 of those wins coming via knockout for Co, while Kenmore Evans has 10-1-1 and 3 knockouts at this time in his record. This is a highly competitive division where these two young men want to just take that extra step in order to look for an opportunity for a minor regional title that obviously should be on hand after the win tomorrow night. Again, the first challenge is the scale, and none of the fighters have had a hard time making weight, and this obviously was not the exception. And of course, the evening continues because now we go into our 4th fight of the evening, and it showcases Orestes Velasquez, the Tsunami, and he has that name because he's actually battled not only in the ring, but just making his way to the US of A. As a matter of fact, he had to come through a raft, through the channel, from Cuba all the way to Florida, and he's going to make this fight count. Let's go back to Mr. Diamante.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it's time to bring up our next fight. And it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing in association with Box Lab Promotions, as they're proud to present 10 rounds for the WBA International Super Lightweight Championship. And now making his way to the stage, please welcome the challenger. His professional record, 13 victories against 1 defeat. He has 6 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, by way of Conakry, Guinea. Please welcome the Black Buffalo, Mohamed Sumaro. And now making his way to the stage, the defending titleist. He is undefeated in his campaign, 7 fights, 7 victories, 6 of his 7 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Miami, Florida, by way of Camagüey, Cuba. Please welcome Orestes Velasquez. Now to the scale, the Black Buffalo, Mohamed Sumaro. $179.8 for the challenger, Sumaro, 179.8. Pardon me, 139.8, 139.8. Different weight class, that's all right. It's a little early. The coffee at that diner was weak. You guys had that? You guys had that coffee? It was like brown water. There's no caffeine in it. All right, now to the scale, the challenger, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Orestes Velasquez. The super lightweight limit, bang on 140 pounds for the champion Velasquez, 140 pounds.
And there you have on hand Orestes Velasquez tipping the scale to the limit of the super lightweight, 140 pounds. And he's going to be fighting Mohamed Sumaro, that comes all the way from Conakry, Guinea, through Montreal, Quebec. It's another country that has given us a lot of stars. So we have 2 Canadians on hand, Steve Rolls and Sumaro, showcasing our Before the Bell. This is our preliminary fights starting at 5 p.m. sharp. Live on DAZN tomorrow. We have a date. Don't be late, because I'll start the party without you. And you do not want to miss this. Orestes Velasquez, who had a great amateur career and is looking for this opportunity to start, like he said, making money. He fought for the biggest part of his life for Cuba in the national team, and now he's looking for that opportunity to make it to the big leagues in the professional ranks. Now that's what I call a stare down. Wow. Look at that. Sumaro is not letting up. And Orestes is not letting up either. Can anybody time this out? Wow. Wow. And the crowd cheers on. Beware of the man who's lost everything, because among the things that he's lost fear. And that is exactly the circumstances for Orestes Velasquez. Now, that's what I call a stare down. If you were not excited to join us for this preliminary fight, this should be the good reason for it. Again, starting at 5 p.m., live on the DAZN. Orestes Velasquez against Mohamed Somaro for the regional titles at super lightweight, 140 pounds, both fighters tipping the scale to that limit. And here we have Austin Amo Williams. In one of his very short sentences, as he was speaking to me here yesterday, he just said, "I'm happy to be here." And since he's already in the dais, we'll go back to Mr. Diamante.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next contest being brought to you by Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing in association with DeBella Entertainment, as they're proud to present 12 rounds for the WBA International and NABF Middleweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, fighting out of Toronto, Canada, with a record of 22-2, 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome Steve Mr. Rolls. Rolls. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, undefeated as a professional, 14 fights, 14 victories, 10 of them coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, Austin Amo Williams. Now to the scale, Steve Mr. Rolls. 159.2. 159.2 for Steve Rolls. And on the scale, the undefeated Austin Amo Williams. 160 bang on for Austin Williams. The middleweight limit exactly 160 pounds.
Austin Amo Williams fighting against Steve Rolls for the WBA International and IBF North American title at middleweight. An interesting challenge for the young man who has had a perfect record in 14 fights. 10 of his victories coming before the final bell. And he tipped the scale at exactly 160 pounds. Steve Rolls, who's actually fought everybody in this division, among them Gennady Golovkin and Edgar Berlanga, 2 fights that tested the veteran. And now he's bringing that experience, that seasoning to the ring against this young man, Austin Williams.
12 rounds for the WBA International and
12 rounds.
Middleweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing in association with DeBella Entertainment, live on the DAZN from Orlando, Florida.
As we've seen Austin Williams grow into his man body, we've also seen his power increase, his confidence just get up there to the highest level. And he's ready to bring it on tomorrow night. Starting at 8 p.m. is the first bell for our main card. He will be opening our evening against Steve Rolls. A young man known for his joie de vivre, very exciting, very happy, with an outstanding output, great production. He sits very well behind his jab and puts together beautiful combinations. And he's ready to face on Steve Rolls. And now we have Sandy Ryan. She's going to be facing Jessica McCaskill for unification. IBO, WBA, WBC, and WBO. And for the details for this weigh-in, let's go to Mr. David Diamante.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of us are chomping at the bit to see this fight as Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 10 rounds for the unified WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBO welterweight championship of the world. Now making her way to the stage, a professional record, 6 victories against 1 defeat. She has 2 wins coming by way of knockout. She fights out of Derby, England. Here is the reigning and defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, Sandy Ryan. And her opponent now making her way to the stage, her professional record, 12 victories against 3 defeats. She has 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, here is the reigning, defending, and unified WBC, WBA, and IBO welterweight champion of the world, Jessica Casquilla McCaskill. And out of the scale, Sandy Ryan. 146.4 for Sandy Ryan. 146.4 for the reigning defending WBO welterweight champion of the world. And out of the scale, Jessica Casquilla McCaskill. Also 146.4. 146.4 for the reigning, defending, and unified WBC, WBA, and IBO welterweight champion of the world.
Jessica McCaskill flanked by Rick Ramos, her trainer from day one, and Sandy Ryan coming all the way from the UK, challenging the 3-time champion Jessica McCaskill. She holds the IBO, WBA, and WBC. Sandy bringing in her WBO title for this unification bout at welterweight division. The ladies, once again, writing their own chapter in the history books of boxing, recognized for their talent, their power, their technique. Completely different level of boxing nowadays. So happy and proud to see the ladies being very well recognized by the fans, and those who don't know boxing yet, this is the perfect time to get into it. They represent the future of boxing. And they exchange words. It's funny, they have a lot of respect for each other, yet their trainers, not so much. They had a few exchanges yesterday during the press conference, and they actually categorized this fight of the level of Gatti Ward. Those are some very big shoes to fill if we're going to consider this fight of that level. I mean, we're talking about an outstanding trilogy that has been obviously remembered by many, and it's already one of those classics that we all go to when we talk about rivalries. So we might be looking at one of those at this time. Jessica McCaskill, Sandy Ryan. So coming up next, the very anticipated return of the man we have on hand, Conor Benn. He makes his big return to the ring here in Orlando, in Central Florida. He's going to be facing Rodolfo Orozco, that comes all the way from Sinaloa. So let's go very quickly to Mr. David Diamante.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the chief support of the evening, as Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing, in association with BoxStars, is proud to present 10 rounds in the super welterweight division. Now making his way to the stage, his professional record, 32 victories, 3 defeats, 3 draws, with 24 big wins coming by way of knockout. Peleando fuera Guasave, Sinaloa, México. Damas y caballeros, Rodolfo Sinaloita Orozco. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He has a perfect professional record, 21 fights, 21 victories, with 14 of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Ilford, Essex, England, Conor the Destroyer Benn. Now to the scale, Rodolfo Orozco. 154.4 for Orozco. 154.4. And now to the scale, Connor, the Destroyer Ben. 153.6 for Connor, the Destroyer Ben.
Connor Ben tipping the scale at 153.6, and the limit at Super Welter is 154, making his comeback to the square ring against Rodolfo Orozco, who at only 24 years of age already has 38 fights in his record, 32 wins, 24 of those via knockout. Something that Connor Ben just kind of said, well, I'm just going to dust it off. I can take this. There's a marked difference in stature. Connor Ben coming in at 5'8", while Rodolfo Orozco, quite tall for this division, at 6'1".
Rodolfo Orozco, 10 rounds in the super welterweight division, Matchroom Boxing in association with BoxStars, live on DAZN from Orlando, Florida.
Let's not forget Rodolfo Orozco comes from Sinaloa. Who else comes from Sinaloa? Great fighters like Julio Cesar Chavez, Jose Luis Castillo, Jory Boy Campas, a long line of world champions. If we know anything about Mexican fighters, is there is no quit in them. And this is going to be a great test for Connor Ben as he returns to the ring after 18 months of absence. He's been training here in Central Florida for the last couple of days and obviously staying in shape. So one of the things he mentioned was he's happy to be back, and he's always in shape to be in shape, and he's always ready to be ready. Yep. So tomorrow will be the great comeback for the great talent that we have in Connor Ben, testing the waters here in Central Florida against Rodolfo Orozco. This is our co-main event, and we cannot wait for our main event. Zepeda, a long-standing fighter from Mexico, but lives in La Puente, California. We all know the type of talents that we have there, a huge pool of great fighters, both ladies and men. And tonight, he wants to show that he's a little bit up there in age, but he's going to give Mr. Richardson Hitchins a run for his money and the title. Let's head back to Mr. David Diamante.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to see everyone out here in Orlando, Florida, as we are now live on DAZN for the official weigh-in for our big night of World Championship Professional Boxing. And it's now time to weigh in the main event of the evening, as Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 12 rounds for the WBC Silver, WBO, NABO, and IBF North American Junior Welterweight Championships. And now making his way to the stage with a professional record of 36 victories, 3 defeats, he has 27 big wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of La Puente, California, by way of Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico. Please welcome the former WBC Silver Super Lightweight Champion and 3-time world title challenger, Jose Zepeda. Zepeda. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He has a perfect professional record, 16 fights, 16 victories, with 7 of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of the beautiful borough of Brooklyn, New York. Here's the 2016 Olympian and the reigning and defending IBF North American Super Lightweight Champion, Richardson Hitchins. Hitchins. Now to the scale, Jose Zepeda. £140 bang on the super lightweight limit for this southpaw, Jose Zepeda. And now to the scale, Hitchins. 139.8 for Richardson Hitchins, 139.8.
Richardson Hitchins with a perfect record in 16 fights. Like David just mentioned, 6 of those victories via knockout. But let's not put aside Mr. Zepeda. Out of his 36 victories, 27 of those have come via knockout. So let's do a quick math. There's almost triple the amount of fights and double the amount of knockouts as Hitchins has fights. So this is going to be literally the veteran against the young man who wants to get that torch passed on to him. Chon Zepeda is a great fighter who's faced everybody and anybody at super lightweight. 140 pounds, he was the man to beat after he just got into a little slump, the one he's planning to get out of while he faces Richardson Hitchins. 36-3-27 knockouts. That's his record against Richardson Hitchins with a perfect record at 16 fights and 7 knockouts.
North American Junior Welterweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing live on the Zone from Orlando, Florida.
There you go. Exchange of words. Hitchins is not gonna let the veteran get the better of him. And Zepeda says he wants to lure Hitchins into his fight. Let's see who takes the win, youth or experience. And I have an outstanding surprise, a great surprise. Mr. Conor Benn is with us. Thank you. It's so good to have you. So excited. You're making your return in my hometown, in my backyard. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm just over the moon to be here.
Well, we're very excited because we've missed you for a while. And the question is, when you're meeting somebody like Orozco, who's fought everybody and anybody, and he's only 24 years old, what do you see in him as a challenge?
I don't really watch what my opponents do. I don't know what his attributes are. I leave that to my coach and my team. I'm just confident in my ability and everything I'm good at. I know what I'm capable of. And anything he wants to do, I can match it, if not better it. You know, so if it comes down to speed, no problem. If it comes down to power, no problem. And if it comes down to boxing brain, no problem. You know, so there's an answer for everything.
I can see that. But one of the things that have come up in the last couple of years is that new rivalry, Mexico against the UK. And how much responsibility do you carry knowing that the UK has not fared very well against the Mexicans?
Yeah, but they ain't me.
True.
They ain't me. You know, so I'll settle the score, no problem. You know, so I'll go in there and do what I got to do. I don't really think anything much of the rivalry. We do know that the Mexicans are tough. Their game, they're strong, their mindset's different, you know, and he's durable, and he's going to need to be.
Great. But before I let you go, because I know you got to go, real quick, we just found out that Mr. Conor Benn speaks perfect Spanish, and I know we're in a rush, but
I don't know about perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Tengo que practicar mucho más. He olvidado mucho.
¿Dónde vivías?
En Mallorca, por 12 años. Pero todos mis amigos fue de Sudamérica. O sea, aprendí de la calle.
So there you have it. So he lived 12 years. I know you translate. Why am I translating for you?
I just said I lived in Spain for 12 years, and all my friends were from South America. So I didn't necessarily learn it in school. I learned it more from my friends on the streets.
Well, guess what? Now I'm going to put you against the ropes. I'm going to invite you for our next fight to come and commentate with me. How do you like them apples?
No problem.
Dale.
No
in
problem.
Spanish?
Vámonos.
Vale. Thank you so much. We're very excited to have you here. And, of course, we have our main event. And if you want to know more about this great fight between Hitchins and Chon Zepeda, check this out.
Richardson Hitchins says that he believes he's already the best 140-pound fighter in the world.
Richardson Hitchins.
2000. He's too straight for Chris Mason. Oh, push him down. Goes Bowser.
Zepeda.
Oh, big shot.
That's the shot.
He wants that step-up fight. He believes in himself.
And now we have our main event, the star of the ball, Jose Chon Zepeda. Jose, it's always so good to have you back. I've seen you grow up through the ranks, and you're here, and of course, a lot to prove against a young man who wants to test the waters from the UK, or I should say from Brooklyn, all the way to La Puente, California.
Yeah, no, we're ready. We took this fight because we know this guy is a talented fighter. He's fast, he's everything. So I told my manager I need a fight that's gonna get me right back to the titles again to go for the fourth time for a world title. And this is Richard Hitchins. We have to go through him, and we'll see if he's all about the truth or if it's all hype.
Well, you're used to fighting at that level. You've had Jose Carlos Ramirez and the likes of him. You've trained with outstanding fighters, all from the talent pool in California. What do you see as a challenge against Hitchins?
He's just a really talented fighter. Nothing that I haven't seen before. I mean, I was in there with in sparring with Mayweather, and I mean, I've seen it all. So he's gonna have to see. He's the one that's going up, stepping up a level. We're gonna see if he has it or not.
140 is now a very, very competitive division, and it's deep and it's wide in all the entities, the WBO, WBC, you name it. What does it take today to become the household name at 140?
Well, you have to beat the champions, that's for sure, and that's what I'm trying to do. I just lost against Prograis, so I told my manager I know I could do a lot better. I told my manager, give me a fight that's going to get me right back in there with all the champions that are right now. So this is the guy. Matchroom told me, yeah, if you beat him, you have a real chance to go for the rematch against Prograis or whoever wins against Prograis and Haney.
So tomorrow you're fighting here. New place for you. You've never fought here in Florida.
No.
How does it feel to be here with where most of the fans are Hispanic?
Great. It feels great. I mean, I have a lot of experience already, so I feel great anywhere. It doesn't matter the 40 fights, so I feel good. I'm ready. I train my ass off, so we'll see tomorrow. I'm going to do what I always do, is give my heart out there.
Well, I know you're always ready to be ready. Thank you, John. Can't wait to see you tomorrow in the ring. Thank you for your time. And I'm not going to wish you luck because you do the preparation and you got great timing. Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias.
And we are live from Caribe Royale in Central Florida, Orlando. John Zepeda just giving us his last thoughts before the war tomorrow. And of course, we're now in great company again. The other belle of the ball, none other than Richardson Hitchins. Richardson, thank you for joining us. It's great to have you here. And obviously, you're going to be fighting for this title here in Orlando, Florida. How is it for you coming from New Jersey all the way here?
Oh, it's great. You know, I've been to Orlando a few times, sparred here, hung out here, so it's nothing different, just ready to box and show the world my talent and skills.
Well, when we look at the record, I was just mentioning 16-0 with 7 knockouts, and John Zepeda has 27 knockouts. That could be intimidating. How do you work against somebody with such long record and seasoned fighter?
Just got to go out there and be smart. Let my talent and my abilities speak for itself. He has 27 knockouts, but I believe that he has a built-up record also. I felt like anybody he ever beat in the ring with me with only 16 professional fight, I would have dominated. So I think that's what's giving me the mental edge. And like I said, tomorrow night we got to go see. He seems ready. I'm ready, so tomorrow night should be a great night of boxing.
Let's look at, let's just take a look back. You were part of our national team, and obviously that Olympic experience, moreover than just the skills, is the experience of being, you know, you have to adjust day up. You don't have time to even look at the opponent. So based on that experience, how much work do you have to do to adjust to somebody like John Zepeda?
I just figure it out when I get in there. When we get in there, we're going to figure it out. You know, most guys, the game plan is to come in, put pressure. We know Zepeda has a powerful left hand, and we know he's a strong guy. So we'll figure everything out when we get in there tomorrow. We have a game plan, and tomorrow is just up to us to stick to it and make sure we can dominate in the fight.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We can't wait to see you in the ring tomorrow. Our main event,
yes.
Richardson Hitchins against John Zepeda. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, you cannot miss our great night. Matchroom Boxing bringing another stellar evening of battles starting at 5 p.m. with our preliminary fights and at 8 p.m. with our main card. Ladies, again, being showcased for their talents and abilities. We have a date. You cannot miss it, because if you miss it, you don't know what boxing is all about. 9 fights, 5 of those going for titles, and that is one heck of a night of boxing. The sweet science being up front and center. With nothing else to say for tonight, don't forget we have a date tomorrow, September 23rd, live only on DAZN from 5 p.m. on, and we'll be here for you with a great night of boxing. Till then, we bid you good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
From the 4 corners of the world, to the 4